but because they are hard.
3, 2, 1, liftoff.
Humankind's ability to devise new tools has always set us apart.
But how we collaborate with these tools to achieve our shared goals and dreams, that's what helps us deliver the modern world.
In just a few generations, digital tools have gone from warehouses to desktops to pockets and the cloud.
All connecting the world through this process.
And now, with artificial intelligence, we are entering a new era.
One that will expand the limitless potential of human knowledge.
Microsoft Power Platform is enabling professional developers, low-code developers,
and everyone in between to build the future of technology together.
United with a common goal, we are democratizing development for all with the #1 most adopted low-code platform of tools.
Low-code means that if you have a unique idea, you can go make it a reality.
Whether you have coding experience or not. Just as industries had to be reimagined when steam replaced horsepower,
the AI platform shift will demand us to reconsider how we do just about everything.
How much we're able to accomplish depends on us working together to attain our goals. Microsoft provides these AI tools.
But it is you who will build the future.
And you being here at the Microsoft Power Platform Conference 2023 is the first step on that journey.
The Global Power Platform community is a true phenomenon.
It's a community created by you.
And it's you that inspire us every single day.
The future is happening now.
The future is happening now.
The future is happening now. And the next chapter of technology's evolution is ready for you to write it.
Please welcome to the stage, Charles Lamanna. Incredible to see everybody gathered together. And it's my honor to welcome everybody to MPPC 2023. Is everybody ready to get this party started? We got some amazing AI news for everybody. But before we do that, I want to take 1 second to celebrate something which is so important to us at Microsoft, which is this community. This is one of my favorite events we do every year, because it's for the community, by the community. All of you help prepare content, vote on ideas, contribute in the sessions, show up in the booths to make this a huge success. And I think this has to be the best community in all of tech right now. And if you ask me what makes it so special, is what it stands for, the culture that you all represent. This idea that it's a community that supports anybody and everybody that wants to join it. We welcome any discipline, any background, and we spend the time to uplift and upskill one another to be more successful with all these great pieces of technology. And that's something you don't always see. And this community has really thrived as a result. We're now at over 5.2 million active members of our online communities. Also, we have 480 local user groups around the world. We can see that everybody is spending that time to share information and continue to improve the overall capabilities of everybody inside the community. And if I look at what that community is composed of, it always blows me away. Because it's not just coders and developers and IT admins, but it's also accountants, HR professionals, finance professionals. Really, any discipline that you think of is part of this community. And that's what we always wanted to do with the Power Platform, to create something for everyone, to make it so that it's not just 10 million, 20 million people who know how to write code that can participate, but 1 billion people. That's our goal, and that's our mission. And as we go look to the future, we think we're at a really interesting time, which makes that more possible than ever. So for the session today, I'm going to take us on a journey to this new AI future, a different space and different time when it comes to what's possible with low-code tools. And this is the theme for all the keynotes this morning. And to really show in action, we have 4 live AI demos. We're going to share some, save that applause for 2 when they get on the stage. It's amazing demos. We have great skilling content, and we have 5 never-before-seen announcements for the Power Platform. And you'll see these scattered throughout all the different demos and content. Now, I want to take a moment to really anchor on why this is an important point in time. I've been part of Power Platform from the very early days. Back when I remember it was a fresh Git repo for Power Automate called Microsoft Flow at the time. And really, we're now at that next generation, that new stepping off point when it comes to what you can do with the Power Platform. And this is part of that AI story. And before we get there, let's go back in time for a little bit. If you look at the Power Platform, 6, 7 years ago, we started to really launch Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, and then later on, Power Virtual Agent, Power Pages, and AI Builder. All of these were on our journey to build a platform to make it possible for everybody to be a developer, to make it possible for everybody to participate in digital transformation. And if you've noticed, so far in 2023, we've had a lot of AI announcements. Dozens of new AI features, more copilots than you can count. And this acceleration is because we're at this special point in time. We're really seeing a shift in how software is built and how it's consumed. And to really frame that, I like to always look at past shifts like this. If we go all the way back to the PC revolution in Windows, that was the shift from mainframes being reserved for only large enterprises and prestigious research institutions to instead everybody can have a computing device on their desk, at home and at work. Then we saw the internet make it so information was available to everybody at basically no cost. If you want to go read all of Wikipedia or watch how-to videos on YouTube, you could do that. We also can communicate and collaborate around the globe in a way we've never been able to before. And then even more recently, you have mobile and the proliferation of digital touch points throughout our life. So it's not just at your desk, but also in your pocket. And all of these shifts are united by 2 things. The first, they completely change, of course, the way we work. But the second, and the thing that gets me out of bed in the morning, they brought technology to more and more people. Further democratized great capabilities and made more things possible. And now, if you look at where we are right now today, we're in the age of AI. It's going to be the same type of democratization and empowerment of more people in more places with more capabilities. And at Microsoft, as you can probably guess, we're very much united by this common idea, a Copilot. And we want to have a Microsoft Copilot for everyone. Every single person deserves to have an AI agent which makes them more productive. I like to think of it as a powerful AI to empower more people. And if we think about Copilots, it's a real-time collaborator. It sits there right next to you, helps you create content, brainstorm and explore new ideas, automate tasks, and even what you'll see in a few demos today, design new user experience and create full stack applications. Copilot can do all of this and more. And we see this really driving a shift where in the past it's all about teams of people working side by side to a world where people are working side by side with AI, with their copilots to get more done faster. It means new teams, new economics, and all kinds of new experiences. Now, if we look at the Power Platform, we've thought that AI is a game changer. And that's what we've started to see. Since we launched Copilot, we've seen more users adopt low-code development, and we've seen solutions built faster than ever before. And if we think about what it takes to be a Power Platform expert, In the past, maybe you go from Power BI to Power Pages with all the different Power Platform offerings in between. You'll really want to adopt a worldview of Power Platform with Copilot. 6, 7 years ago, we set out to reimagine and rediscover what's possible with development. And we've done that with all these low-code tools. We think we're on the cusp, the edge of doing it all over again with Copilot and AI. And the great news is you don't just have to take my word for it. Like I mentioned, we have 4 amazing demos that will show all of this in action. If you think about Power Apps, always the fastest and easiest way to create web and mobile applications that work across platforms and devices. Copilot turbocharges that. And to see it in action, I want to invite Emma on the stage, who will be walking through an amazing end-to-end demo for Power Apps and Copilot. Let's give it up for Emma.
Awesome. Thank you, Charles. So, Toyota is a global automotive powerhouse renowned for their manufacturing excellence. With a rich history dating back to 1937, they are a gold icon setting the standard for manufacturing excellence. Now, in today's competitive car market, inaccurate demand planning leads to inadequate inventory and ultimately lost sales. It is very important for car manufacturers to have an efficient way to check the availability of their cars. And so they built a Power App to help with that. So let's take a look. Now, this app was built with modern controls, and you can see that it's pretty gorgeous. Now, modern controls are a new set of controls like this header or this grid that are based on the same design language as Office. Now, these help makers build beautiful and accessible apps. Now, our warehouse managers, they use both tablets and phones because they're on the go. And as you can see, this app renders responsively on each device size. But let's go and make some further updates to our app. So, our warehouse managers want to see more information about the warehouse capacity. And luckily, they have this information in an Excel sheet. But it probably shouldn't be in an Excel sheet, right? So now in the studio, I can simply upload an Excel file with this infused Copilot experience. Just select that there, and it'll get turned into a Dataverse table in seconds for us. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, Copilot will help me recognize that all these text fields are text fields, and our date fields are date fields, and so on, doing all that heavy lift for us. And so, in just a couple of seconds, we've gone from an Excel sheet to having a table in Dataverse in a proper relational database. Very cool. But let's go and make some further updates to the app. Not only can Copilot help us with our data, but also it can create new experiences for our app as well. And so it's available to us here right in the studio. So I'm going to ask it to create a gallery and form for our warehouses table that we just made. With the form, every time I select something in the gallery, it'll show what it's selected and also add the buttons and hook all that up for me. So it's going to do a lot of work here for us by adding the data source, adding all the controls, and writing those Power Effects expressions that make this all work. There we go, it's coming in. It's always a nervous moment in the demo. And there we go. So it's gone and generated a full app for us. It's hooked it up to all our warehouses data, as we can see. Now, unfortunately, it didn't quite stick the landing on these buttons placement. But that's OK, because I'm always in control of the outcomes here. If I wanted to, I could undo all of these actions that it's done in a single click. But regardless, I've gotten a huge head start on my app. It's gone and written all these expressions, it's hooked up the data, and I can go continue configuring this app just how I like it. Now, that's looking pretty good. So we've just seen how Copilot can go and configure our data and our layout, just making our makers so much more productive. But wouldn't it be great as well to be able to take that generative AI capability and include it for every app, for every person to use? Well, now we're happy to announce that you can go and include an app copilot in your app that works over your data for your end users. Cool. Let's take a look. So all I have to do is insert the Copilot control, and then I'll configure it to know about the available data. In this case, it's going to be about our Toyota cars table. So that's all it takes to hook it up to know about the data. But also, I can now ground this experience in websites and URLs in order to expand what Copilot can do. So I'm going to add some of our car information into these websites. There we go. And that's all it takes in order to hook it up. So let's take a look at what that would look like in the app. So here, we're going to ask a question about how many 4Runner vehicles in obsidian color do we have? Now, this data is available in our data set, as we can see. And so it's understanding our intent, creating the query, and returning the response. So we have 10 4Runner vehicles in that color. Very cool. I'm going to ask one more thing. Do Land Cruisers come with a roof rack? Now, this information isn't in our data set, but it was on some of the websites that we provided it with. And we can see here that, yes, it comes with a roof rack. And it even gives us a reference to exactly where it found that answer on the websites. Now, wouldn't it be great if we could empower our warehouse managers to also go and take actions through Copilot? Well, the lucky thing is that everything we've just seen is based on Power Virtual Agents. And so now you can customize your Copilot and get full control over the Copilot behavior. So all we need to do is hit this Edit in Power Virtual Agents button. And it will open in Power Virtual Agents an experience for us to customize. And so here, I'm in Power Virtual Agents, and what's new here is plugin actions. Plugin actions are a way to wrap pre-built connectors, Power Automate flows, and custom connectors in order to generate GPT multi-turn conversations. As you can see, I've added a few here already, so let's take a look at what it would look like in the app. So our warehouse managers need to make requests to move inventory around. And so here, we're submitting a new excess inventory request for Alexis. And you can see immediately the plugin action comes back to generate what question to ask in order to fulfill this request. And so I'm going to give it my answer of 80 units. And now it's asking for the zip code. But this isn't just a normal question and answer. I could correct past mistakes and answer multiple responses in one prompt here. So I can say, actually, it's supposed to be 50, and here's the zip code, and it understands. Now, I can also customize this Copilot experience with adaptive cards to make it easy to read and understand everything that I'm doing. And so this all looks good, and we're good to go with our request submitted. So we've just seen how fast and easy it is to build intelligent applications with Power Apps and Copilot. Thank you so much. Back over to you, Charles.
That's what's always so amazing about the Power Platform, is seeing how customers like Toyota solve existing problems in new ways. And if we look at the announcements and the capabilities at Emma's demo, you really can see how Power Apps becomes an intelligent way to build applications, where you can use natural language, but also the apps you build can be intelligent, can embed Copilot in your experiences. And Copilot isn't something that we're going to keep just to ourselves at Microsoft. We want to make sure all of you can use it in your solutions as well. Now, if we go back to that original founding, original idea of Power Platform, we always want to expand the audience that could participate in development. If you think about a typical organization, there's a large number of people with a limited technical skill set. So can you use a personal computer? Can you use a phone? Can you use Word? That type of thing. But then, if you go look for deep technical expertise like coders, there's usually a small number of people, say 1 to 10% of the workforce that can really get in and write code. And with Power Platform and low code, that drag and drop visual experience has always been about expanding to the less technically capable, as well as the most sophisticated developer, a new platform and tool to create solutions. And we've gotten pretty far with this. An amazing community, amazing number of users, but we've always wanted to do more and push it further. And what we think is happening with Copilot is we can finally stretch that to make it so if you can just describe in natural language what you want to accomplish, Copilot will help you build it. And that doesn't take away the need for developers and technical expertise. It just means you can have a broader spectrum of solutions built on the Power Platform. And this kind of new era and new age, this is what Copilot and AI is all about. Now, for this next demo, we're going to look at Power Pages. And just like we saw with Power Apps, you can use Copilot to build things faster and include your own Copilot inside of your solution. But one of the things Power Pages really starts to highlight is the power from a design perspective. And to show this in action, I'm going to welcome on the stage Ashish, who's going to step through all the amazing capabilities inside of Power Pages. Let's give it up for him.
Thank you, Charles. T-Mobile provides wireless voice, messaging, and data services in the United States. It has over 50,000 employees and operates the third largest wireless network in the US market, serving over 84 million customers. Isn't that huge? Let us see how Power Pages customers can now leverage the power of natural language input and intelligence suggestions for unparalleled efficiency in their website creation, using T-Mobile as an example. Let's take a look. Let's consider a potential scenario for T-Mobile creating a site for customer help. Here, we'll describe the customer support site that we want to build. Let's validate the site details. The Copilot has come up with a site name suggestion as well. We'll keep going. Now, Copilot has generated a layout tailored to the description provided. And it looks great. Don't you think so? I'll keep going. Now, Copilot has generated pages for us. I'll select all these pages. This is already saving me so much time. Earlier, this could have easily taken days. Now, all that is left is to hit done. And Power Pages and Copilot will do its magic. Copilot is our designer on demand. And its integration with Power Pages has redefined the way websites can be created. Now, I am in the design studio, and here is a site which I previously created. I can continue to converse with the Copilot sidecar to adjust the site, create new pages, and even create new forms. Copilot is helping us build the site effortlessly. This site isn't branded to T-Mobile. So let me ask Copilot to create a new theme to match T-Mobile's Magenta brand. Now, this will take a moment, because now Copilot goes out to find the colors based on my prompt. Whoa. Copilot has generated a theme very close to T-Mobile. Let me apply this theme. An important thing to note here, T-Mobile hasn't had to do anything to generate these colors. Copilot has done this completely from its knowledge of the internet. Now let me add a submit a claim form. This form is important for companies like T-Mobile and their customers to be able to get help when their device, for example, has been damaged or needs replacement. With Copilot in Power Pages, building a form has become simple and efficient. Just describe the form you need in natural language, and Copilot will automatically generate the tables in the Microsoft Dataverse and create the related form. Now, Copilot is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. It has generated the right schema to create the table. It has generated the right data binding for this form. And it has generated the right portal metadata to add this form to the table. This could have easily taken days, if not weeks of effort. But Copilot is making this all so simple, and everything can be achieved in just a matter of minutes. Let's review this form. As you would notice, it has all the required fields. I'll keep this form. Now, for advanced use cases, for example, if you want to add business rules, custom validations, or advanced styling, we can use the VS Code integration in Power Pages. I've already opened VS Code, so let me switch over. Now, this is the feature that personally I've been working on. Here, in the VS Code, I can write email validation logic for the form I just created. Here, I'd asked the Product Copilot to add validation on the next button click in the form to ensure email address has proper format. And the Copilot has generated this code. I can add this code in the editor, review it, make changes, and the moment I hit save, my changes will be saved in the Dataverse, and it will be reflected in the website. Can it get any simpler than this? Thank you. I really think it cannot get simpler than this. We are working with the wonderful Power Apps developer experiences, VS Code, and GitHub teams to build these features. Now, from what we have seen so far, in Power Pages, we can start with natural language to create a site, then go into low code with the Design Studio, and still drop into VS Code to write code, all so seamlessly. And what's remarkable is, we have Copilot all through this journey across all the surfaces. Now let's look at another way Power Pages and Copilot continue to empower, and this time it's not the makers, but the users of the website. For my website visitors, this feature enhances their interactions with my site, allowing them to ask natural language questions and receive concise responses complete with relevant links. For example, I can ask the Copilot chatbot about what speed can I expect from T-Mobile home internet. Now, this information is useful for people like me who work from home. Now, Copilot has generated a response. It says, you can expect a typical download speed between 72 to 245 Mbps, which is great. It's good for video calls, and it will ensure like my Outlook and OneDrive, everything stays in sync. As you would notice, it's not just a concise response, but it also has a link. Anyone who wants to delve in can follow this and get more information. So this is where it is all coming from. With Copilot in Power Pages, we are defining the way users can interact with our sites. These new Power Pages AI capabilities, low-code innovations, and sophisticated tooling will help low-code and pro developers accelerate development, increase efficiency, and speed up creating websites that scale. Back to you, Charles.
What's incredible is Ashish not only can demo that capability, but his team actually built all those Copilot functionality that you saw. So a great double threat. And I would say my favorite part of the demo is the merger of a Copilot which understands Power Platform but also all the amazing general knowledge that exists in these large language models. Like if you talk about the T-Mobile Magenta and T-Mobile theming, the model knows what that means because it's been trained on the internet, right? Has a good understanding of it. So a really incredible set of functionality. And just like we saw for Power Apps in its Copilot, it's from authoring time to runtime. From start to finish, Copilot is present. And I'm sure there's some skeptics in the audience that are thinking, oh, Copilot, this is years away. The big thing I hope I can leave everybody with today is just, this is happening here and now. This is something people are doing right now. And to put that into perspective, because I'm a numbers guy, love numbers, 126,000 organizations are already using Copilot in the Power Platform. This is one of the fastest, most quickly adopted capabilities we've ever had in the Power Platform. And it's because it makes things easier. It makes it possible to build solutions faster. And that combo is so compelling, but it's not just for low-code developers. Like we saw in the Power Pages demo, coders, folks that feel more comfortable in VS Code, also can get an incredible boost by using Copilot to build things faster and more easily. And to really go deep on this, the next session is from Thomas, CEO of GitHub. He's going to walk through how AI can be your Copilot as a developer as you write code, and how this is something that you really can't separate from the future of development. And it's not just for developers, Copilot, not just for Power Platform. In fact, low-code AI, and if you're a salesperson, if you're an office worker for an IT admin, everyone deserves a Copilot to make them more productive. Remember, it's a Microsoft Copilot for everyone. And we also have a great keynote today that's going to cover all the amazing integrations for Copilot in Office and Microsoft 365, where Sumit's going to go through all these incredible capabilities and have demos as well. So, back to our regularly scheduled Power Platform programming. You got a Copilot in apps, websites, for coders in VS Code, and more. But you can't forget Power Automate. There's also an amazing set of Copilot capabilities in Power Automate. So whether it's cloud automation or robotic process automation, Copilot is there to make it easier to build solutions there. And one of the big milestones we just celebrated for Power Automate is that fact that it has now over 10 million monthly active users building automations each and every month. And I still remember when we had 10,000 users, so this is a pretty big step up for us. And to show Copilot, because one of the things that we've really done in Power Automate is reimagine from the ground up how you could build an automation with Copilot. I'm incredibly excited and honored to welcome on the stage Lan, who's going to step through all the amazing Copilot capabilities.
Thank you, Charles. The pet insurance market is estimated to be valued at $9.53 billion in 2023. Nationwide, a well-established financial service organization with history spanning over 100 years is America's favorite pet insurer. It's crucial for pet parents to be able to have an easy and efficient way to submit insurance claims. Let's see how Power Automate helped them on this journey. In this example, a SharePoint list is used to keep all the incoming new claims. Someone must manually read the data, process the claim, and get back to customers. It's a time-consuming process, so they want to automate it. They can get started with Copilot just using natural language. So here we're going to ask Copilot, every day, read the item from the SharePoint list. If the claim amount is below 1,000, automatically approve it and get back to customer. Otherwise, send to this reviewer team for additional manual process. So traditionally, it will take a new user at least a couple hours to finish building a flow like this. Now, with the power of generative AI, Copilot generates this flow recommendation for me just in seconds. I can view a couple of variations and then pick the one that works the best. I can tweak my prompt to see some new suggestions. So this one looks pretty good. Let's take a close look. It will run on a recurring schedule. It will get items from the SharePoint. It has a for each loop, which will iterate through each of the items. And it also has a condition car, will process the claim based on different business rules. So I will pick this one, click Next. Now Copilot gonna guide me through the connection creating process. With that, I'm ready to create my flow. With a few seconds, I'm now landed in this brand new designer. I can see my flow is here, and then Copilot is still on the right-hand side to continue offering help throughout my authoring. I want to show you how smart Copilot can get with parameters. Let's see. First, in the recurrence trigger, it set the interval to be once per day. All right, that's an easy one. In the get item car, it sets the correct SharePoint list and site. And in the condition car, it knows to specify if the claim amount from the SharePoint list is less than 1,000. And then, if the condition is met, it will auto-approve this claim by setting this SharePoint list item status to be approved, and it will send the email back, again, using this customer's contact email. The email subject and body are already pre-filled for me. And in the case a manual review is required, it will send the email to the approval team for a manual process. And remember, we get all of this just from this one single prompt. Is that amazing? Even better, I can continue asking Copilot to make updates to my flow. So Nationwide pays close attention to their customers' sentiment. They also know for those urgent medical situations, time is essential for the pet parents. So we want to ask Copilot to add some more business rules. And just to make it more challenging, I'm going to stack the two into one single prompt. So I'm going to ask Copilot, if the claim amount is not less than 1,000, however, let's analyze the sentiment of this claim detail. If the sentiment is negative, or if the priority is urgent, post the team's message immediately. It looks like Copilot already finished updating the flow. Let's take a look. So it's under this manual process route. Copilot added this AI builder car. It will analyze, using an AI builder to analyze the claim detail sentiment. And it also adds a condition car. In the condition car, it even used the or expression to specify either the sentiment is negative or the priority is urgent. In either of the case, Copilot wants to send a team's message so our claim gets timely attention. Otherwise, we follow the original email path. As you already noticed, there's a lot of new capability coming to the new designer as well. First, all those cards now have this slim and modern look. And here is navigation panel. You can easily zoom in, zoom out, or you can pan over to a particular interest point. It's beautiful. and you can collapse or expand any regions you want. And if you open the car, this property panel open on the left and give you enough space to work on. And there's a new expression editor support multi-line. Yes. Multi-line. All right. This is just so much more scalable and delightful for you to work with, especially when you have large flow with a lot of branch and actions. Now, this flow has continued to grow. My teammate has been adding a lot of actions, so it's getting really complex now, and I'm having a hard time to understand what's going on. However, Copilot can help. We can ask Copilot, what does this flow do? So instead of me have to read through all those nodes one by one to understand what's going on, Copilot can generate this nice written, precise but accurate summary for me. So it's so much more easy for me to document my flow, share with others, or understand a flow built by someone else. So, as you can see, with Copilot, flow authoring has never been so easy. And we are so excited to announce today, both Copilot and the new designer are generally available for you. Hope you enjoyed them. Thank you very much. Back to you, Charles.
I had a suspicion that new formula bar would be the part of the demo that got the most applause. And what's incredible about all those Copilot capabilities is we've had it in preview for almost a year now, and we have some amazing stats about what it does to productivity. For folks that use the new Copilot functionality, we're seeing them build flows twice as fast and with 70% less errors. We've never had an update even remotely approaching that impact. So between that and the designer, it's a new era for Power Automate. Now, as we think about all these Copilot and AI capabilities, it's a lot happening very fast. So this is a time where skilling is more important than ever. And what we're going to do is, between conferences like this and sessions online and some other programs I'm going to talk about, we're going to make it easy for all of you to be Copilot experts at work and to be dazzling everybody you work with by taking advantage of all these new capabilities. And the first thing I want to talk about is the Power Up program for career switchers. Last year at MPPC, we talked about this idea that we wanted to create a program where anyone that wanted to get into Power Platform development full-time could take advantage of this program, go through courses, and get a job so they can spend 40 hours a week using the tools they love and advance their career and more opportunities. And it's one of those things where I can't really do it justice. So what we've done is we've asked people that have contributed and participated in this program to share their experience. So let's check out the video.
The Power Up program gives you such a holistic view, and it helps you focus on the products, over a weekly schedule. So you get to see them all in kind of a different lens.
I've been exposed to low code. We funded this company, Soma Consulting, with my husband, and I've been able to see how we can use the Power Platform ecosystem in giving solutions to our customers to enhance and make their business processes more beautiful.
We start with the production department, and now we are involving in other departments because I think everyone saw the impact that the Power Platform has, and they are always looking for me to to develop apps, Power BI dashboards, reports, automations, and I think it has been a game changer in a few words.
Before I started the program, I never thought that I could build the app. And I had tried to dabble in it just by playing around in it before, and I thought it was hopeless. Once I started actually building the app, I was amazed at what I was doing. And to be able to understand enough low code to be able to build that app, and I was very happy with myself.
Before Power Up program, I was trying to create a very simple record keeping app, and it would take me a few hours to just complete a simple app. But after completing Power Up program, I have created real life apps that are in production in my organization. I have got a chance to even appear for the certification exam that is going to add more feathers to my cap.
If anybody is afraid or hesitating to join the program, I think the advice from me is just do it, go for it. It can be scary sometimes and needs a lot of discipline, but this is quite important aspect to find community, because usually community is quite open and a lot of knowledge. You can meet fantastic people.
And I want to say a huge thank you to folks in this room, because to make this program work, we depend on volunteers and the community to go scale up and reach out all these different participants in the program. In the last year, it's been over 22,000 learners in over 180 countries have started to make that career switch into the Power Platform. And I know there's a few folks in the audience today that actually are graduates, so also let's maybe give them a round of applause for completing the program. And one of the biggest requests we got was, could we expand Power Up to not just be for individuals, but could we also help organizations skill up their workforce and do cross-training and retrain? So this year, we're excited to announce the brand new Power Up program for groups. So non-technical workers and individuals in a company can sign up as a group and go through the program and graduate as Power Platform experts. And we think this is how we can get to that billion Power Platform user dream, is by expanding skilling and working together to go uplift and help others learn the Power Platform. Another thing that I've heard a lot from customers as they've adopted Copilot and AI in the Power Platform is it's hard to know where and how to apply these capabilities. If you're anything like me, you see this new Copilot and you think of 1,000 different ideas that you could build. There's probably people already building solutions right now in the audience. And what we've realized is that we have to provide some tools to make it easier to understand the opportunity. And that's why earlier this year we announced general availability of our process mining capability. And what process mining does is it makes it so you can look at what users are doing and server-side logs to understand how the business actually runs. And importantly, understand where there's bottlenecks and duplication and opportunities for automation, and also to measure the impact after you deploy your Power Platform solution. And to really show this in action, how it all composes, I'm incredibly excited to welcome on the stage Heather, who's going to walk through process mining.
Wow, those were some really powerful demos from Emma, Ashish, and Lon on everything that you can accomplish with the Power Platform. But sometimes the largest struggle is figuring out how to get started. How do you identify all of the opportunities in your business, and then how do you prioritize all of them? And that is why Nationwide first used process mining to learn how to apply the Power Platform. Nationwide, like many other insurers, use systems every day to manage their processes. And these systems are continuously creating event log data that to you and me, this digital exhaust may not seem very useful. But Power Automate Process Mining can bring meaning to this data. Nationwide is able to connect to their event log data using one of the over 50 connectors available. In this case, they have their data stored in an Excel workbook. So we'll connect to that data store, and then all that's left to do is identify the data that's pertinent to the process that we're interested in analyzing. In this case, the insurance claims process. Once we've done that, we're taken into an experience that's going to look really familiar to all of you Power BI users out there. And this is Power Query, which you all know and love. And here you can transform the data, add additional data, whatever else is left to do. But this data is already prepared. And so now all we have to do is map it. We can do it manually, but let's use the AI-powered auto mapping feature to actually have process mining do it for us. And just like that, we're ready to save and analyze our process. And once we have that, we have Nationwide's process report for their claims process. Here, we can see all of the activities and the sequence in which these activities occurred when Nationwide was processing these claims. Now, Nationwide has processed over 10,000 claims in the last 2 months, which have taken a whopping 476 different variations or paths. And this can seem pretty overwhelming. We can use the deep analytical tools in process mining to get a deeper understanding of what's actually happening in the process and the business and understand what's causing these deviations. But instead, let's actually have Copilot do some of this work for us. And here, we can see that Copilot has been able to identify some key insights. The first being that the longest running activity in Nationwide's claim process is actually ensuring that a policy exists once a claim is open. It's also been able to identify that there's some activities in the process that require a ton of rework and repetition before a claim can move on to the next step in the process. One of those activities is actually assigning an insurance agent to a claim before it can move on and be processed. It's counting around 2,000 rework counts in the process, which is quite a bit. Now, Copilot and process mining have been able to take that source data we gave it and that process map and actually highlight and prioritize what is happening in the business. No more guesswork, no more trial and error, no more hundreds of interviews with business users to understand how the process works. It's all happening right here in front of us. We can even ask Copilot to help us identify additional bottlenecks using the features in process mining. But let's actually have Copilot address the bottlenecks it's already identified. And here, we can see that it's been able to come up with 2 suggestions. The first is to create a Power Automate flow that actually automates that policy check activity that we saw as the longest running activity in the process. And the second is a Power App to actually manage how insurance agents are assigned to a claim and ensure it's done quickly without too much rework. Now, we actually got to see this flow be created through Lon's demo, which was amazing. So why don't we create this Power App together? Once I click on this Power App tile, I'm actually taken into the natural language to table experience in Power App, where the context from the process mining analysis and the bottleneck is being passed over to the Copilot in Power Apps, which is really busy right now trying to create the solution for us. Now, Copilot is going to come up with an app, and we can, of course, always use Copilot to make any other changes or additions to that Power App inside of Power Apps, along with the many other features that Power Apps has today that allow us to click and drop and make changes. And this looks great. So now once we create this app, Nationwide has a flow to automate their activities and a Power App to seamlessly manage the other ones. So let's fast forward a few weeks and actually see the impact that these automations have had on the business. With Power BI's extensibility in process mining, we can actually create custom dashboards and reporting from that original process mining report to actually track how the business is performing.
And here we can see that the flow that Lon showed us is actually causing the average duration of that policy change activity to decrease over time. And then the Power App that we created together has actually caused the rework count to also decrease, having an overall positive impact on the case duration that Nationwide takes to process a claim. Now, Nationwide was able to take process mining to identify opportunities in their business, then find suggestions on how to apply Power Platform to make an impact on those business metrics, and then continuously monitor to ensure that they're always meeting their customers' needs as efficiently as possible. Thank you.
And it's really incredible to start to see how all these things compose and work together to help you kind of get started and explore new designs and new apps and new automations, and even figure out the best place to go deploy all these great capabilities. And this process mining Copilot, we view it as it's like your management consultant that's right there next to you, analyzing how the business runs and capturing the business impact. Because that was a big thing that we keep hearing is, Power Platform, I create all these solutions. How do I measure and capture the impact? Process mining can help you do that, to understand how AI is transforming what you're building. And another important part of that demo is kind of where we finish off. We're looking at the data. We're really deep in the data, understanding how the business is running. And what we've realized is that data is the fuel that powers all of these AI capabilities. If you don't have a great data strategy, if you don't bring your data together and clean it and merge it and map it, it's hard to get AI deployed. And earlier this year, we announced public preview of Microsoft Fabric, which makes it easy to bring together all your data assets and build that foundation from which you can launch all these amazing AI and Copilot capabilities. And we have a great session where Arun is going to come and talk about all the amazing capabilities in Power BI and Fabric and analytics in the era of AI on Thursday. And between these keynotes, you really will be an expert on Copilot and generative AI by the end of this conference. And that's really what our goal was when we set out to define the agenda and think about the theme of what we're creating. Now, across all of the Power Platform, there's this amazing user base. The stat we shared earlier was 33 million monthly active users who every single month use Power Platform to create amazing things. And if we look at all of those users, they're mixed in lots of different organizations, some small, some big, some manufacturing, some in banking, kind of all over the place. And even though the Power Platform started as a bottoms-up movement of people wanting to be empowered and use tools to build faster, the Power Platform is still enterprise-grade. In fact, over 97% of the Fortune 500 uses the Power Platform in at least one department today. Yeah, I agree. And to really highlight, I want to play a video from HDFC Bank, which shows how one of the largest banks in the world is using Power Platform to transform some of their most mission-critical enterprise processes. Let's play the tape.
Hi, my name is Ramesh Narayanan. I am the CIO for HDFC Bank, which is India's largest private sector bank and one of the leading private sector banks in the world by market capitalization. So we are part of India's financial services system. We have roughly upwards of about 110 million customers, a very large customer base spread geographically across the length and breadth of India. We have roughly about 9,000 branches as we speak. The bank itself at a larger level is going through an IT transformation. We touch about 60 million customers a month, and that's a massive number. So if to look at that kind of a population, you need IT systems at scale. So as a part of this strategy, we've been moving a lot of our workloads to cloud, and also we've been sunsetting and decoupling a lot of our existing applications into unified platforms. By having a universal low-code, no-code platform in the middle, The Power Platform is sitting, in fact, very interestingly, we started with a very simple journey of whenever a customer walks into a branch, we kind of stop taking any physical instruction. We just give them a digital link, and this entire digital link journey is built on the Power Platform. We're using the same platform on the government institutional business. So basically, they log into this portal, they get their cash flow statements, they look at their analytics around how the funds have been used and where they have gone. We're using Power Platform and some of the elements of Power BI on the front-end layer. So earlier, we would have a multiple set of applications to do this functionality. Now we have been able to consolidate that using the Power Platform. So I think clearly a lot of work has happened in the bank in terms of the adoption of these platforms. And we are seeing it as a very central tool to pivot our future strategy as we go along modernizing the bank. And given that so much is happening between Microsoft and HDFC, we are very, very confident that this will be a super partnership.
And if you see all these demos and these customer stories, it may feel like kind of the story is written on low code, but that's kind of pretty far from the truth. I remember back in 2020, there was a great kind of study analysis done talking about this idea of less than 25% of enterprise applications were built with low-code tools. Despite going all the way back to VB and Excel, low-code's been around for quite some time. But we really are saying that the midpoint between that low percentage and was forecast in 2026, where 75% of enterprise applications are going to be built with low-code tools. And this is the transformation, the revolution we're leading. And I can't wait for MPPC 2026, when we can go out and look at a huge audience that are part of this transformation happening in real time. So if we look at the whole session today, we saw Power Apps Copilot, Power Pages Copilot, Power Automate Copilot, process mining with Copilot, and plugging into those other Copilots. Really, it was a swan song all about Copilot for the Power Platform. It's an amazing set of capabilities that you can start trying today. And I talked about how important it is to skill and learn. And at MPPC this year, we have over 150 sessions. So if you want to go deep in Dataverse, you want to go deep in solutions, in Power Virtual Agent, in Power Effects, or if you want to go learn the architecture of how we actually build and host this service around the globe, we have sessions for all of that. So go look at the planner, go figure out what's interesting to you, and also say hi to the folks around. Like I said, the community is what's so special about this particular event. This is your chance to meet and share great lessons with one another. And with that, we're starting to draw towards the end of my session. And I just want to express our incredible gratitude at Microsoft for this conference, for all of you, and what you represent from a culture and community perspective, but also all the amazing solutions that you build, and giving us a chance to share those stories with the world, and to kind of memorialize what we think is a very important point in time, this Copilot and AI revolution. We're doing something a little bit different this year at MPPC. What we've done is we have these big letters that we used last year. But starting this year, we're going to make it where everybody gets a chance to sign and show the fact that they were at MPPC. And I will get to be the first person to do it. See what message I write? No. But and these will be out in the conference, so you'll get a chance as well as some swag as you do it. So let's see, something smart. Let's go. That's the best I can do. And I can't wait to see all the other messages that everybody else shares as they go through this conference. And I can't wait to hear the stories and the feedback of who you've met, what you've built, and what you learned. Thank you so much for coming. It's a great set of days. Can't wait to see it all end. Thanks, everybody.